Hey Chocolate Milk Mamas, I'm back with another video and I want to talk to you all about 5 helpful mom tips or advice that I think that I would give myself when I became a first-time mom. And I'll just go right into it. So one of the tips that I would have, or advice that I would have gave myself is to be organized. It is very, very, very important to be organized when having a child. I believe that everything has a place, a spot, like Pampers, wipes, bottles. And when you have that child and that child starts crying and you're like, oh my God, I need wipes or I need Pampers. It's good for that to be in a specific place where it's easy to find, easy to grab, not put in a corner or in a box. When you buy it and it's in a pack or it's in a box, open the box up and put it up, because when you need it, you're going to need it right away. So being organized is key, not only to making sure you have your Pampers together, but also being organized with appointments, making sure your child has that insurance card, or you have the insurance card, and if you don't have the insurance card, then you have the group number. That's something that nobody told me about. Like, I know that you have to have health insurance for your child, but I did not know. Like, I felt like, okay, well, it'll be in the system. Yeah, after you give them the information. So knowing that group number, or having that group number written down, maybe in an agenda or having it in your wallet, is very important. So that's being organized. Okay, so I talked about Pampers, making sure your Pampers are organized, making sure that you have your insurance card. Also want to talk about clothes. As your child gets older, in this first year, that your child is growing and going through all these different stages, your child is going to be growing. Well, literally, their body is going to be growing. So they're going to be naturally growing out of clothes. So you're constantly rotating clothes. When you find out that set of clothes, like your child is no longer in the newborn clothes, give them away. Give them to Goodwill, Salvation Army, because you don't need it. You're gonna accumulate so much stuff when they're little. People are like, oh, this is so cute. They're gonna give you clothes, shoes, and your baby is gonna grow, and you're gonna need more space for that stuff. That stuff, the more stuff you get, the more space you're gonna need. So instead of needing more space, just declutter. Get rid of some of that stuff. So that's being organized. Like, so that way it's easy for you to find something for your baby to wear. Grab it fast and put it on, and that be that. So that way you're not grabbing something that's newborn and now your baby's 12 months. Well, now your baby's fitting size 12 months. So yeah, so being organized and trying your best to stay organized. I know that it's hard, but baby, you can do it. Forming a routine is number 2. Forming a routine. Having a routine is good for you as a mother, because once you have a routine, your baby starts to see that routine and starts to get in a groove of that routine, and then you're able to have time to yourself. Let me say that again. If you have a routine with your child, then you are able to have time to yourself. Once your baby takes that nap, you're able to have some you time, some free time, some breather time. And then I breastfed both of my kids. So they were on a routine, a sleep routine, a bath routine. We had all these different routines and a schedule, but you better believe it, I had my time. Even when I was breastfeeding, there were times where, I enjoyed doing YouTube. I enjoyed doing TikTok. So as I was breastfeeding, I would do TikToks. I would make it fun for myself because breastfeeding was a lot. It was a lot of work, a lot of work. And I had to continue to push myself through it. Having that routine allowed me to have, build in some me time and some self-care while I was also providing, the things that my child needed. Listen, when your child gets to an age where they're speaking, I think it's important. This is number 3. I think it's very important that we listen to our children because, in talking to our children, I sit and I try my best to talk to my daughter. I talk to my daughter as if I was talking to anybody in this whole wide world. Because I want her to be able to communicate with me. I want her to be able to communicate with others. I want her to be able to express herself. And she's not going to be able to, in my mind, she's not going to be able to express herself the way that she needs to or get the help that she needs if she doesn't have, if she doesn't know how to have a conversation. Or if nobody ever listened to her. So she's like, well, she might have those thoughts in her head like, am I worthy of having a conversation? Is this person going to listen to me? The number one person that should be able to listen to her is me. Is me. If nobody listens to her, I'm going to listen to her. And I tell her all the time, if something is going on, talk to me and I will advocate for you. And I always ask her, do you know what advocate means? Because when I'm talking to her and I'm asking her questions and talking to her and I say a word, I'm like, well, does she understand this? So I'll ask her, well, do you know what that means? And then I'll explain what that means. So that way we both get an understanding. I'm like, is that understood? She says, yes, ma'am, or yes, I understand, whatever. So we have that dialogue going back and forth. So it's very important that you listen to your child. Spend quality time with your child. This is number 4. It's very big, and it's big. It's important. You should spend quality time with your child. It's important that you spend quality time with your child, not doing something that you want to do, but doing something that they want to do. Whether it is an arts and craft project, playing cards, playing with their dolls with them, just listening to them talk about how their day was at school, or having them summarize a movie that you two watched together. Like, I told my daughter, we were having a conversation and I said, hey, have you ever watched Cinderella? And she was like, yeah, Cinderella is my favorite. So I said, well, tell me what happened with Cinderella. In Cinderella, she was like, she could not tell me what happened in Cinderella. So she went over and got her iPad and she pulled it up, Cinderella. So she pulled it up and she pulled up like a little bit of Cinderella. So it brought back her memory. And then she cut it off. She came back to me and she said, yeah, Mom, this happened. And she had stepsisters and there was a king and she had a fairy godmother. And she went down and told me everything. She was able to summarize Cinderella, and I thought that she had never seen Cinderella before. So it was eye-opening for me to know how much she consumes without my knowledge, or how much she's able to express. So that's why I think spending time or talking to your child, listening to your children, and also spending quality time with your child, it brings you and your child closer together. And it's a tip that I wish that I knew, when I was starting out. I feel like, we're on a good path and we continue. I'm learning, she's learning. I continue to tell her this, hey, we're learning together. That leads me into my last tip. My last tip, number 5, is for you to give yourself some grace. Give yourself grace, because you're learning, you're changing, you're trying to learn who you are as a mother, because this is a new journey, new experience, and you're also trying to learn this ball of joy that you gave birth to, and they're learning new things. You're pouring into them while you're still trying to learn how to pour into them. I want you to give yourself grace. I want you to understand that you are not the only one going through this. You're not the first person to go through this. You're not the last person to go through this. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to drop them in the comment box. And not only me, but the whole community, our whole community will come together and we can help each other. If there's any videos that you would like for me to, or anything that you would like for an update on, or any videos from my experience and my perspective that I can share with you, just let me know. I've breastfed both of my children. I didn't breastfeed my daughter for a long time. I plan on doing a video about my experience with breastfeeding my daughter versus my experience with breastfeeding my son. I think that's going to be a really interesting video because I had two totally different experiences. Every child is different. So if you already have a child and you're watching this video, I want you to know to use these tips. Use these tips, whether you're a first-time mother or not, because staying organized is something that has to be learned. It's a learned behavior. It takes time. You can get there. Forming a routine. If you didn't have a routine with your first child and you want to have a routine with this second child, maybe we can do it that way. Or if you had a routine with your first child, but this second child, that second child is a mess, because I know mine is. So you might not have a standard routine, but it's important to have something in, like, a little wiggle room. It doesn't have to be set in stone, but have that wiggle room with that routine, because not everything is going to be perfect. If you already have a child, you know that it's not always going to be perfect. Things are not going to always go as planned, and it is okay. Go back to 5. Give yourself grace. If things don't go as planned, it's okay. Give yourself some grace. It's not the end of the world. Keep pushing. I know you can do it. We can work together. Comment below. Subscribe. See you later. Bye-bye.